This tutorial is to replicate what is known as Bleach By-Pass effect, and this is a conversion of a Photoshop tutorial which I saw on one of my magazine discs. So I've done it on this example here, and as you can see, it gives the skin tones a more blurry, washed out effect. Personally, I'm not 100% big fan of the look, but I thought I'd make the video to show you how it can be done if you like the effect. I've also done it on this image as well, so you can see how the effect works and whether you want to go ahead and use it on your images. It seems to work best on portrait images, although you could probably use it on anything like landscapes or what have you. But from what I've seen so far, it seems to be mainly portrait images. So, starting the tutorial, I'm going to use the same image which I got from Pixabay.com. But you can use your own images. So, first thing we want to do is to duplicate this image. So I'll just right click on the background layer here, come to duplicate, or you can press Ctrl and J. And then with the duplicated layer, I'm going to convert this to black and white, so I'll just come to the adjustments, go to black and white. Now you could tinker with some of the settings, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to click merge, so that layer is now the black and white layer, and I'm going to change the blending mode. Now in the video tutorial I saw for Photoshop, they used overlay, which works okay, but it's mainly to help bring you some contrast to the image. But overlay, soft light, hard light, and maybe even pin light and vivid light may work, but I personally preferred hard light, but you can go whichever blend mode that you like the look of. So next thing we want to do is, now I'm not 100% certain whether this is more important just in Photoshop or whether it applies to Affinity Photo as well, but the tutorial that I'm converting said to make sure that your foreground and background colors are black and white for this next step, and that black is the foreground color and white is the background color. So once you've made sure that that is how it should be, we're now going to add the diffused glow filter. So you come up to filters, blur, and the third one down here is diffuse glow. Now into tutorial for Photoshop, they have free adjustments, and none of them are named the same in Affinity Photo, so I'm not 100% certain which one is doing the same sort of job as it did in the Photoshop tutorial, but this is my best guess at what they were trying to do, because you're trying to sort of make this a much more blurry sort of facial area and a lot whiter. So I pumped the radius right up to 100, the intensity at 5, the threshold at 7, and the opacity, you could tinker with this. 100% you may think that's too washed out. You may want to bring back a little bit of detail, so I would say somewhere between 75 and to 100%, depending on your personal tastes. So click apply to that. Now this is still not quite as blurry as the Photoshop tutorial, so what I then did was I went back to filters, blur and Gaussian blur, and just added 1 pixel of extra blur, just to give it that more fuzzy feel to the image. So next thing in this is, you don't have this, technically would be the end of the tutorial to get the bleach effect, but in the Photoshop tutorial they added a vignette as well around, so I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to come for the elliptical marquee tool. By default I think it's set on the rectangular marquee tool, but the elliptical one is the second one down, and I'm just going to put the cursor crosshairs in the top corner, and now I'm going to click and hold and drag down to the bottom corner, and then just try and get the circle equal on all sides. Release the mouse button, so that area is now the selected area, but I do actually want the outside of this selected. So what I'm going to come to the select menu and down to invert pixel selection. So it is now the outside area that is being selected, but I want to refine that selection, so I'm going to click on refine, and as you can see from this red area here, this is the area that is not being selected, but as you can see it's got a very sort of sharp edge, and I want a much sort of more feathered edge, so I'm going to increase the feather quite high. Let's try 60, let's try 70, nearly 75%, so they've got a much less hard edged area, so I'm happy with that. So I'll just click apply, and then I'm going to come to the adjustments and come up to levels, and as you can see the levels adjustment has now got in the layer mask this black area in the middle on the layer mask, and that means that that area will not be affected by whatever adjustments we now make. So I can now get rid of this selection area, so I'll just press Ctrl and D to get rid of that, and then I'm just going to, I'll start with the gamma slider. I'll move this to the right. If I go right the way over, you can see that it's making the area around the outside a bit darker, and we'll just come back a little bit on that and maybe alter the black level slightly, just so that it is this area in the middle that sort of is standing out much more. So I'm happy with that. So that is the end of this tutorial. We just sort of made this bleach bypass effect. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.